Everyone assumes you are broke. I swear 90% of people I meet in my day-to-day life assume I am jobless and broke. It's one of the advantages of working from my apartment rather than an office. So earlier today, as usual, I popped on my Zelda hoodie and zipped off to the doctor's office. I had 3 missions: see the doctor, the nurse, and get my flu injection. The doctor would cost $45, the nurse would cost $45, and the injection plus fees would cost $35. First stop, the doctor. He was super nice and all smiles until he flipped over my notes. "Wow," he said, looking concerned. "I see you're booked to see the nurse and get your flu shot too." "Yeah, knocking it out in one afternoon to save time," I smiled. "Yeah, you sure are. Pretty expensive day though, isn't it?" I shrugged, thinking about the $10,000 business class flights I had just booked. And then he asked, "Do you have a community services card?" So I was like, "No, I don't, but it's all good. I've set the money aside. I don't mind." And his face just dropped again, as he was clearly thinking, "Oh no, this poor young girl, she's broke, can't get a job." A young 20-something who just walked into his office in the middle of the day, not working at a job, wearing hobo clothes, and has gone, "Yep, she's broke." "Well, I definitely recommend looking into that," he said, handing me a pamphlet, "but for now, I'll see what I can do." "Oh, but because it's going to be a really expensive day for you." "Oh, you don't have to. It's all good. Just head to the reception afterwards and it will all be taken care of." And so after seeing the nurse and getting my flu shot, ouch, I went to pay, and would you believe I was charged $105, the same price as if I had had a community services card. You stop having sick days. Back when I was a kid, if I woke up in the morning with a sore throat, that was awesome! I got to watch all of the morning cartoons and play video games for the rest of the day. Being sick rocked. When I wake up in the morning with a sore throat, I think, what have I done? My productivity is going to go from 100% to 10%. No! That's why when I leave the house now, I bring hand sanitizer with me. I swear, I am not a germaphobe. I just really don't want to get sick. And working on my business on the side, I would daydream about being a millionaire and having passive income so that I could take days off as I pleased. Well, cut to April earlier this year. As my subscribers know, I was in Canada on a vacation. The day before my flight home, my tummy started feeling funny, and over the course of a few hours, that funny feeling morphed into horrific, unbearable agony. By 3 a.m., I was laying on a bed in a local emergency clinic, newly diagnosed with appendicitis. By 8 a.m., I was at the hospital being wheeled in for emergency surgery. Later that afternoon, the surgeon came by. "So when were you planning on leaving Canada?" My flight home was 2 hours ago." "Wow, you're definitely not making that then," he laughed. "I hope you have insurance. You're going to be here for at least another week. Oh, and for that week, you won't be doing any work. A great chance to catch up on some Netflix." 48 hours later, I was at the local camera shop buying up the store. I ended up setting up a filming studio and an office in my hotel room. After having emergency life-saving abdominal surgery, people suddenly want to be your friend. I was still that same shy, nerdy geek no one cared about. The only difference was now I had more money, and that's when you realize something. Oftentimes, a lot of self-made millionaires I know, like myself, were geeks and nerds as kids. We weren't popular at all. But little did I know that things would only become worse once I entered middle school. I very quickly discovered my place in the world when during the first week of middle school, one of the most popular boys in my class, Nick, pulled me aside. "Sarah," he said, "I want to talk to you." "Sarah, I've got something I really want to ask you. Will you introduce me to your sister?" My older sister was and still is gorgeous, and would you believe, was extraordinarily popular with everyone at school. One day we were at the mall. An old childhood friend, Ashley, spotted us and he ran over insanely fast like it was nobody's business. "Hey," he said, "great to see you again. And you too, Sarah," he said, briefly turning to me. "So I have to get home, but we should totally catch up again. what are you doing on Sunday? And so lo and behold, we found ourselves at the movie theatre that Sunday. Hey, he exclaimed, you made it! And so did you too, Sarah. Great, let's go in. We all filed into the movie, with me wedged between my sister and Ashley with his entourage of friends. 5 minutes into the movie, Ashley leaned over me. Hey, he said to my sister, I have some popcorn. Do you want any? She took a handful, and before I could take some, he snapped it away and started munching on it. 5 minutes later, his friend Michael whispered to him. Ashley leaned over me again. Hey, Michael has some jet plane lollies. Do you want some? She took a few, and again, before I could grab any, he snapped them away. And so, for the entirety of the movie, Ashley and his friends would offer my sister snacks over my lap as though I didn't exist. It was all little 14-year-old Sarah could do to hold back the tears for the entirety of that movie. And so that's how I left high school, an invisible nobody. And then I became an adult. Free from the chains of classrooms, I built several successful businesses, and as I did that, my bank balance grew and grew. My popularity too. Suddenly, those kids at school that had no idea that I existed. The ridiculousness of that became even more apparent during my surgery in Canada. I still remember the doctor bouncing through the door at 3 a.m. It's official! You do have appendicitis. And as he said that, I just burst into tears. What's wrong? He asked, confused. We've diagnosed it. We can treat it now. I'm scared. I blubbed. Am I going to die? He said, pausing. It's unlikely. We'll do our best. And I can tell you now, that was not the answer I was looking for. Shortly afterwards, I called my mother back in New Zealand. Mum, I sniffled, I'm in the emergency room here in Canada. What? Yeah, I've been diagnosed with appendicitis. What? They've called the ambulance. I'm going to the hospital. They're gonna prep me for surgery. What? Sarah, are you going to die? I don't know, Mum. I might. Is that you come to rely on money to solve all of your problems. But there was no amount of money in the world that could pluck my mother from little New Zealand and drop her off in time to be by my side for surgery in Calgary, which, as sappy as it is to say, was all I wanted in that moment. The most important nor the most valuable thing in life.